Yo, what's up, Show Insider fam? If you're not subscribed yet, hit that bell right now because this is the kind of bombshell that could shatter the entire MLB landscape. Jim Bowden, the man who knows more about front office chaos than anyone, is staring at what he calls a rotation nightmare in Los Angeles. And he's still saying the move that's coming next is a $300 million super team. Before we dive into why half the league is freaking out and calling this a conspiracy to end all conspiracies, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and drop a like. I need 1,000 subs to keep this channel rolling. Every one counts or we lose the insider scoops. Imagine the Dodgers, already untouchable, adding a two-time Cy Young lefty to their arsenal. Is this genius or a league-breaking glitch? Let's break this down step by step because if Bowden's right, we're witnessing the birth of a dynasty that leaves everyone else in the dust. Alright, let's break this down, people. Jim Bowden is looking at a rotation most teams would kill for, and calling it a problem that might actually push the Dodgers into trading for Tarik Skubal. In his world, the team that just ripped off back-to-back titles and already lives in ace overload mode is somehow one insane move away from building a $300 plus super rotation that could break the rest of Major League Baseball. The question isn't just will they do it. It's whether the league is even ready for what this would look like if the Dodgers actually pull it off. Right now, the Dodgers' entire identity is built around something every other franchise envies. Wave after wave of frontline starting pitching. They're coming off consecutive championships. Their rotation is already being described as one of the deepest in the sport. And yet the conversation around them sounds less like, do they have enough? And more like, how do you even hit these guys 4 games in a row in October? Most clubs spend years begging for one true ace. The Dodgers live in a world where people seriously wonder if adding another one would be overkill. But that's exactly the kind of overkill Bowden keeps pushing. To understand why this idea scares everyone, you have to understand what Tarik Skubal has turned into. He's not just a nice arm in Detroit. He's a 2-time AL Cy Young winner with elite run prevention numbers. The kind of left-hander whose ERA+, FIP, and whip scream, top of the sport, every time you pull up his page. The Tigers have quietly built their entire pitching identity around him at the very top of the rotation. And when he takes the ball, there's a real argument he's the best starter in the game that night. That's the level of pitcher Bowden is trying to teleport into Los Angeles. And folks, if you're not hyped yet, here's the crazy part. This isn't just a trade rumor, it's a front office earthquake that's got fans rioting and executives sweating bullets. People are furious, league-wide shock is real, and the outrage is palpable. But let's set the scene step by step because this isn't just a rumor, it's a ticking time bomb that could redefine power in baseball. Here's the crazy part. Bowden's not alone in this madness. National voices are now openly connecting Skubal to LA by name. On CBS Sports HQ, Matt Snyder flat out said that if the Tigers move Skubal, the most likely destination is the Dodgers, even while acknowledging other heavyweights like the Yankees, Mets, and Cubs would absolutely be in the mix. Fansided took it a step further, naming the Dodgers as Skubal's most likely landing spot among all the ace-hungry teams left in a frozen pitching market. When you've got a Cy Young winner in a contract fight, a front office that never calls anyone untouchable, and a contender with prospects and money staring at you across the table, it doesn't take long for the league to connect the dots. The money is the engine behind all of this. Skubal isn't some long-term cost-controlled question mark. He's heading into his final season of club control before he can walk into free agency and let the entire market bid on a 2-time Cy Young lefty. If he wins this arbitration case at $32 million, he sets the all-time record for a hearing, surpassing Juan Soto's $31 million and blowing past David Price's previous pitching mark in Detroit. That kind of salary in his last year before the open market tells you everything about where his camp thinks his value really is. For a mid-market team like the Tigers, long-term numbers in that neighborhood are terrifying. For the Dodgers, they're just the cost of doing business when you think you've found the anchor for your rotation for the next decade. Picture this. One photo, one rumor, one meeting, and boom, the Dodgers are on the verge of a trade that could redefine power in baseball. Jim Bowden drops this bombshell and suddenly the MLB world is on fire. Is this the moment the Dodgers go full villain mode, stacking a rotation so dominant it feels like cheating? What if I told you this isn't just a trade, it's a conspiracy to lock in a decade of dominance? Let's break this down because if Bowden's right, the Dodgers are about to make every rival team look like amateurs. Imagine the headlines: Dodgers acquire Skubal, MLB's competitive balance in shambles. Fans are already losing their minds on Twitter with hashtags like #Skubal2LA trending. Is this the spark that ignites a league-wide revolt? Rhetorical question time. How do you compete when one team has a $300 million rotation nightmare? The shock is real and it's only getting started. Alright, let's rewind. Jim Bowden, the insider's insider, is out here saying the Dodgers' rotation, already a beast, is a nightmare for opponents, and the fix? Trade for TK Skubal. But why the outrage? Because this isn't some mid-tier swap, it's a $300 million commitment that screams financial warfare. Reporting out of Detroit shows a massive gap in Skubal's contract talks. Tigers floated low, his camp wants $170 plus, and whispers of $300 million or even $400 million deals are flying. That isn't just a big contract, it's the kind of money only a handful of teams can touch without flinching. And when insiders list the clubs that could realistically step in, the same names keep popping. Yankees, Mets, and, drumroll, the Dodgers. Combine that with a trade before free agency, and you're talking about a franchise using its financial muscle and prospect depth to lock in a decade-long problem for everybody else. That's why Bowden's proposals have set off a storm. In his versions, the Dodgers send packages built around arms like Emmett Sheehan and Justin Brohl, plus prospects like Jackson Ferris and outfielder Zahir Hopes. Sometimes with Tyler Glasnow floating in and out as a big league piece. He's written like it's only a matter of time, saying the Tigers will get an overwhelming offer and have no choice but to move Skubal because there's no realistic path to a long-term extension in Detroit. On paper, it's the kind of deal contenders make all the time. Trade young arms and prospects now for a sure thing at the top of the rotation. In reality, a lot of people think he's massively undervaluing what a pitcher like this should cost. And here's the thing, it's not just talk. On January 8th, TK Skubal and the Tigers blew past the deadline to avoid arbitration. Instead of agreeing quietly, they ended up miles apart. Skubal filed at a record-setting $32 million, while Detroit countered at just $19 million. That $13 million gap? It's not just bad optics, it sets up a very public, very awkward hearing. And the Tigers are known as a file and trial team that usually drags these things in front of an arbitration panel. Every bit of that tension is exactly what a team like the Dodgers can exploit. They're not lowballing some mid-rotation arm. Skubal just won his second straight AL Cy Young, becoming the first pitcher since Pedro Martinez in 1999 and 2000 to pull that off. With numbers that look like a video game, 2.21 ERA, 0.89 WHIP, 187 ERA+, over 195.1 innings, leading the AL in all three, and 6.5 WAR by Baseball Reference. This isn't just an ace, it's a left-hander who's right now on top of the sport. When that kind of arm is 1 year from free agency and fighting over dollars with a team that has never paid at the very top of the market, every big market contender starts circling. And Bowden suddenly looks a lot less crazy. The public reaction? Pure chaos. Fans are flooding message boards, executives are holding emergency meetings, and media is calling it the trade that could break baseball. Why so strong? Because it feels like the Dodgers are exploiting Detroit's desperation, turning a franchise cornerstone into LA's next trophy. People are furious. Imagine Tigers fans watching their hero get shipped off 4 insulting packages. It's not just a deal, it's a betrayal. Let's talk backgrounds because this is where the conspiracy thickens. TK Skubal? He's not your average pitcher. Born and bred in Detroit's system, he's the Tigers' franchise cornerstone, a 2-time Cy Young lefty who's turned their rotation into a fortress. Drafted in the early rounds, Skubal's rise has been meteoric, from a raw prospect to AL MVP caliber dominance. His background screams reliability, consistent innings, elite strikeouts, and a demeanor that's all business on the mound. The Tigers, meanwhile, are a mid-market team playing in a big boys game. They've built around Skubal, but their front office knows the math. Long-term deals in the $300 million neighborhood are terrifying for them. Owner Chris Ilitch has historically been frugal, avoiding mega contracts that could cripple the payroll. On the other side, the Dodgers? Andrew Friedman and his crew are masters of this. Friedman's track record, trading for Ohtani, stacking pitching, proves he's not afraid of bold moves. The Dodgers' background is one of excess, unlimited resources, a farm system bursting with talent, and a culture of winning at all costs. Jim Bowden? The guy who's been in the front offices, knows the whispers. He's not just speculating, he's connecting dots that have half the league paranoid. And don't forget the arbitration chaos. Skubal filing at $32 million sets a record, blowing past Juan Soto's $31 million and David Price's pitching mark. For Detroit, it's pride versus reality. Skubal said he hopes to stay. Manager A.J. Hinch has praised him publicly, calling him the top of the sport. But pride doesn't pay bills. For LA, it's opportunity knocking. Friedman sees a chance to cement a legacy. Now here's where it gets conspiratorial, folks. Is this just a trade, or is it the Dodgers executing a master plan to tilt the league forever? Bowden's been hinting for months that the Tigers might be forced into a deal, and with arbitration blowing up, it's like clockwork. The Dodgers have the prospects, the money, and the motive. Why not exploit Detroit's desperation? Skubal's camp is aiming high, knowing free agency looms and the Tigers can't match. This smells like strategic manipulation. LA swoops in, guts Detroit's future for a generational arm, and creates a rotation imbalance that rivals cry foul over. Is Friedman the puppet master, pulling strings to build a dynasty? Or is this Bowden's way of stirring the pot? Either way, it feels like a bigger plot, one that could leave the rest of MLB scrambling for scraps. Suspicious timing. Arbitration hearings are public spectacles, perfect for driving up Skubal's value. And Bowden's inevitable narrative? It's almost too perfect, like he's in on the scheme. What if this is the start of a new era where big markets hoard all the talent? The conspiracy runs deep. Fans are whispering about league favoritism, executives denying it, but the dots connect. Let's compare this to the past because history is screaming. Remember when the Dodgers traded for Shohei Ohtani? That was a game changer, but this? It's Ohtani times 10 for pitching. Teams like the Yankees have done big money aces before. Think Garrett Cole at $324 million, but the Dodgers stacking Skubal on top of their already elite group? That's unprecedented. Compare to the Astros sign-stealing scandal or the Mets mega-spends. This feels like the next level of competitive imbalance. League patterns show big-market teams hoarding talent. The Yankees, Mets, Cubs all circling Skubal. But the Dodgers have the depth to make it happen without blinking. Past behaviors? Friedman loves these blockbuster deals. The Tigers have traded aces before, like Justin Verlander. Is this the new normal or a glitch in the system? Rhetorical question. If the Dodgers can do this, why can't everyone? The outrage stems from imbalance. Small markets get screwed again. Roster-wise, this fits like a glove for the Dodgers. Their rotation is deep, but adding Skubal? You're either replacing Glasnow with his health questions, or stacking him on top. Salary dynamics? LA can handle $300 plus without flinching. Detroit can't. Depth charts scream mismatch. Dodgers have young arms like Sheehan and Brule ready to go, plus outfield prospects like Joe DePaula. For Detroit, losing Skubal guts their identity. Do they rebuild around scraps or risk him walking for nothing? Development concerns? Skubal's in his prime, but Glasnow's durability is a wild card. This trade could push LA into dynasty mode, while Detroit faces a painful rebuild. Positional issues. Dodgers need lefty balance. Skubal provides it. Hypothetically, imagine Game 1. Skubal versus a rival ace. LA wins 90% of the time. Salary caps? LA's luxury tax hit is worth it. Detroit's budget explodes. Scouting Skubal? Strengths? Elite lefty stuff, run prevention god, 2.21 ERA, 0.89 whip, 187 ERA+. Weaknesses? Maybe command in high-pressure spots, but he's proven wire to wire. Projections? Another Cy Young, 200-plus innings anchoring a staff. For the Dodgers, he adds southpaw balance.